Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And before we get going on today's video, I want to throw out a quick challenge. I'm a goal-oriented person and I keep pushing for new goals. And if you take a look here, on February 20th is when we uploaded our very first video to YouTube. And I noticed that we're getting pretty close to 25,000 subs and about 60% of you guys are not yet subscribed. So if we can hit 25,000 subs by the time we hit that 1 year mark, I promise you, I'm going to have some big giveaways, some big stuff going on top of what we're already going to do coming up. So hit that sub button if you haven't already. But anyways, let's get into today's video. There are some cards that people just absolutely love, and there's some cards that people absolutely hate in Hearthstone. And throughout my run of streaming in Hearthstone for like the past 3 years, I've heard all the complaints and I've heard all the praises throughout the years. So these next two videos are going to cover the most hated and the most loved cards in Hearthstone history. And today we're going to spread the love to the cards that I hear people always say that they've enjoyed, loved, all that good stuff. And then tomorrow, we'll take a look at the most hated cards. But again, this is not my personal list of most hated or loved cards. This is just all subjective based on what I've read from like either my Discord, Twitch chat, YouTube comments, all of that. And again, if you disagree with this stuff or you have your own cards that you absolutely love and you want to share, let me know in the comments below. But I'm going to share my top 10 list of the most loved cards of all time. So starting off at number 10, we have the Death Knight, Frost Lich Jaina. Came out during the Frozen Throne, 9 mana, and you summon a water elemental, and you get a new hero power of every time you kill a minion, you summon a water elemental. But on top of all of that, all of your elementals for the rest of the game, no matter what, have lifesteal. Even if you turn into the amazing Reno, they will keep lifesteal. And it's like one of those ultimate end game win condition cards. It just felt great getting all this insane lifesteal, whether it be through a water elementals or like a Baron Geddon or a Ragnaros, Tiamat, all this cool stuff. Just was like one of those most satisfying endgame win conditions and one of the most beloved Death Knights in Hearthstone history. At number 9, I'm putting these together because they kind of just feel like they belong together. They were Hall of Fame together, and that's Sylvanas and a Ragnaros the Firelord. These iconic, originally classic legendaries just decided a lot of games, have so many iconic moments, and I bet you if they weren't Hall of Fame, they might not be as beloved. You might not be that fond of having your minion perfectly stolen or that 1 in 8 rag shot killing you. But because they're Hall of Famed and most people don't play them anymore in Wild, you fondly remember that 1 in 8 rag shot that won you the game, or that perfect steal that won you the game. It's pretty interesting how time can change the way people feel, but it definitely is one of the more loved duo of cards just for their impact, their iconic nostalgic feel, and just amazing flavor. Speaking of amazing flavor, at number 8, this one's gonna be polarizing. This is also a really hated card, but I feel like it's loved too much by too many aggro players to not make this list, and that's Leeroy Jenkins. When he got Hall of Famed, there was a lot of rejoicing from people like me that couldn't stand him, but there was a lot of people upset that their favorite charge minion was going to the Hall of Fame, and it wasn't just an aggro card. Like, let's be real here. There was like Leeroy Faceless Power Overwhelming combo back in OG Reno Lock. It could just be like a combo card with like Shadow Steps, or you could even do like Grave Runes Priest Leeroy OTK. I remember seeing Zeddy do that. The card had a lot of flexibility. It used to cost 4, but even at 5, did a lot of crazy stuff. But the flavor, its voice line, everything about it is just really cool. It's just the fact that, it would kill a lot of people really early in the game, and that could be frustrating. But overall, I think he's more loved than hated. But again, let me know in the comments below. This one is likely to be a polarizing one. At number 7, we have one of the more recent additions to the list, but I do feel this card is pretty loved by a lot of people, and that's Rattle Gore, the new warrior legendary, I believe, during Skullomance. The 9 mana, 9/9, and every time it dies, it gets a little bit smaller, but it was like the ultimate value endgame win condition. You can copy with Bloodsworn Mercenary, but its voice line is amazing. It just represents something that you don't see a lot in Hearthstone, is with giant minions can actually do really cool stuff, and it's just a really flavorful card. It gives that big win condition end bomb to warrior. And once Risky Skipper and Bloodsworn rotate out, I hold it in a little bit better favor just because those cards kind of make it a little bit toxic at times. But overall, it's a 9-mana card that feels like it's a really impactful late game card. And those are hard to come by these days. At number 6, as seen on the thumbnail, is Lord Jaraxxus, the classic Warlock legendary. The best voice lines in the game, pretty much. Amazing flavor. The original hero card, effectively you change your hero into Lord Jaraxxus. You go down to 15 health, but you get this big 3/8 weapon. You can summon 6/6 abyssals for the rest of the game. Again, another late game value bomb of a card. Doesn't really see any play anymore, which is really sad, but back in the day, what a cool card, an amazing meta impacting card, and still loved to this day. People are always like, maybe this will make Jaraxxus playable. Sackpack being nerfed, maybe this will make Jaraxxus playable. People just want to play Jaraxxus, and who knows, maybe with a classic rework, something will happen to make Jaraxxus relevant again. At number 5, we have a very modest, very fair, but very loved minion, and that's Tarcreeper. It's just a 3-mana, 1/5 neutral taunt minion. It's an elemental, but on your opponent's turn it has +2 attack, and this is like one of the most perfectly balanced cards. It's anti-aggro in the fact that it only has 1 attack on your turn. Your opponent has to get through it if they're aggressive, but you can even run it in an aggressive deck. It's got high stats, it's a good buff target, it's elemental, it has elemental synergies. It's just an all-around, really well-designed card that saw basically play during its entire standard run. Doesn't pop up in Wild a heck of a lot anymore, but it's just one of those really just fair cards that just felt good to play, didn't necessarily feel unfair to face. At number 4, maybe polarizing, but I don't really think so anymore, and that's the old god Yogg-Saron, the original Yogg-Saron. Cast a bunch of random spells and absolute insanity would occur. You know, it got nerfed originally because it, shouldn't have really been a competitive card, but as time has gone on, time heals wounds, and basically everyone just embraces Yogg now. It got unnerfed in Wild, and I remember spamming it for like a month straight, just having tons of fun with Yogg. I still have fun with Yogg, and I used to be a Yogg hater. It used to be one of my most hated cards, but I feel like I'm with the rest of the community. Embrace the random, let chaos ensue, and get some insane Trollden highlights. Yogg, definitely a very loved card. At number 3, we have another Death Knight, even more popular than Jaina, and that's Deathstalker Rexxar, the 6-mana hunter legendary. You get that AoE effect for 2 damage, but more importantly, you get that new hero power of building a beast, and building a beast is just fun. It's just fun. I've hated Rexxar in terms of the infinite value as a control player. It's frustrating, but I always love playing Rexxar, building these crazy beasts, whether they have lifesteal, rush, charge, a crazy death rattle, whatever. It's just really cool. They've made a tavern brawl based off of it where everyone just builds a beast for the entire game. And it's sad that it doesn't really see play in Wild anymore. It's too slow. The value doesn't matter, but it was just such an iconic card, such a fun card. And it let you do just crazy stuff. And it could, let somebody with a good imagination build that perfect crazy beast for that right situation, like Dreadscale with the poisonous attached to it. Could be absurd. Just one of the most crazy, cool cards ever made in Hearthstone, and definitely loved by almost everybody. Number 2, we have the original Highlander card, Reno Jackson. Although polarizing at times, it can be hated when you're just going face and they drop that Reno card because they drew it and healed a full and you lose. It's allowed for just insane deck building throughout the history of Hearthstone. Doing the whole Highlander thing or not, maybe just running Reno in a duplicate deck that has heavy cycle, it's just allowed for so much cool stuff, and dropping 1 Reno or maybe 2 Renos is just such an amazing, satisfying feeling that you can't help but enjoy it when you slam Reno. It may feel bad to have it slammed against you, but it doesn't really outweigh the amazing feel of that full heal. And before we get to number 1, I have a few honorable mentions. 1, Weasel Tunneler, just a sick meme card, shuffling that weasel into people's decks. That voice line is amazing. Definitely one people talk about all the time. Renounce Darkness, the Warlock spell, basically changing all of your Warlock cards into random ones of another class, and just insanity ensues. Solemn loves spamming this. I know so many people that have enjoyed Renounce Darkness and has just enabled so many silly, stupid games. And Archmage Antonidas, the mage legendary, just super iconic, flavorful, with a haha and the fireballs. Exodia Mage is one of the more beloved archetypes I've seen. People always want Exodia Mage to work out, so I throw Archmage Antonidas as that classic, iconic mage legendary. And number 1 most loved card in Hearthstone history, I gotta give it to Ziliax. It has one of the best voice lines lines in Hearthstone history of unity, precision, perfection. It sums them up perfectly. It's just like one of the most perfect cards in Hearthstone. It might just be like this 5-mana 3/2 with Divine Shield, Lifesteal, Rush, Magnetic. It just works. It just does so much good stuff. It's great anti-aggro. Hell, it's running aggressive decks. It's just super good. And once it rotated, Demon Hunter came into the game and started smacking us all in the face, and it made us long for Zilliax even more. So when that classic rework happens and maybe Zilliax comes back into the fold, you never know. I don't think many people will be complaining. In fact, I think a lot of people would be celebrating. So let me know in the comments below, what are your most loved cards in Hearthstone history? What do you love playing more than anything else? And make sure to tune in tomorrow where we take a look at the most hated cards of all time. It should be a spicy one. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.